This is the 200th video on Input English. So what's next? I'm Joseph. This is Input English. In previous videos, I used a couple of terms that you may have noticed, useful terms in English. One is baby steps, a metaphor for small incremental steps, small changes, small steps, baby steps. The other expression I used yesterday in the video is the small things. So the theme here is small, not grand, but small, because that's what this is all about. It's about the small things. Yesterday's video foreshadowed today's video because I knew this was coming up. The 200th video is a milestone. So a little history, I decided to start this channel in late 2024. A little detail, I didn't have a clue how to make videos, how to edit videos, or how to do the YouTube thing. So I did some research over a period of months, and I made some really terrible videos that were learning projects, things that I used to learn the craft. When we got back from Texas, we went there for the solar eclipse, I started making videos in earnest, the real videos. And I got to admit that the original ones were not very good, but they're published on the channel. On August 7th of 2024, I published 41 videos. The advice I got on YouTube was, if you're going to start a new channel, you should publish 3 or maybe 5 videos, not one. So I digested that advice, I considered that advice, and then published 41. So that occurred on August 7th, 2024. On that day, I did a math problem, a simple math problem. I looked at the calendar and I used a device on the internet, a day counter. And I plugged in the date and I asked myself how many days were left in the year. 145. From that, I could see that I could have 200 videos in mid-January if I was willing to make one video a day. And I knew that making a video a day could be done because others had done it. So I set the goal on August 7th, 2024, that I would have 200 videos by mid-January of this year. Okay, so there's the goal. And then I put that goal on the shelf and didn't think about it very much. Because goals really don't have a great deal of power. We have to trust in our systems. We have to trust in our methodology. So built into that goal was the methodology. I realized from the math that I simply needed to make one video a day. So when I got up in the morning, every day for the past 5 months, I did not look at that goal and think, oh yes, I want 200 videos by, no. No, when I got up in the morning, I thought, lovely day, time to make a video. I need to make one video today and publish it, and it needs to be good. So that was the goal, and I trusted in the system. So by now, as you heard that part of this story, you've already seen parallels between what I did over the past 5 months and what you are doing now. At least I hope you see that parallel. So as you look at 2025, it would be great, it would be recommended that you set a goal. Now, a goal like I'm going to improve my English in 2025 is very weak because it's not specific enough. It doesn't have any power. If On the other hand, you said, I am going to trust comprehensible input and I want 300 hours by the end of 2025. Or perhaps you want 600 hours, or maybe you want 1,000 hours. You're in charge of your metric, you're in charge of your goal. But instead of something vague like, I want to improve my English, make it specific. I'm going to get X number of hours. So let's use the 300-hour metric because the math makes it very convenient. If you want 300 hours by the end of the year, then that's 300 divided by the number of days, about 0.83, times 60 minutes, so that is 52 minutes per day. So if you set your goal that you're going to get 52 minutes a day of input, then that is a very specific goal. It's one you can act on. The goal of 300 hours in 2025 goes on the shelf, and then when you get up in the morning, I need to get 52 minutes of input. And of course, that input could be videos, could be podcasts, could be audiobooks, could be YouTube videos with a lot of language in them, could be reading books. So there are many ways to get 52 minutes of input each day. You're in charge of those choices. Now, if you chose to do input from a channel like this one, again, the math is very convenient. The videos on this channel average 13 minutes. So if you were to do 4 videos from this channel each day, that would give you your 52 minutes on average. If you were to start watching videos on this channel from our library of 200 videos, this library would take you to mid-March. The current library of 200 would take you till March 1st. But during the 50 days that it would take you to get to March 1st, I'm going to make 50 more videos. So if you went through this library, you would not run out of videos to watch until mid-March. And then you would have choices. Along the way, you could be thinking about what you want. Maybe you want to go back through the videos on this channel in this library. And the reason you might want to do that is these videos are designed for you to do that. They are loaded with expressions. And the first time through a video, it is unlikely that you would recognize every useful expression. Repetition is a very useful tool in comprehensible input. I don't require it of anyone. It's just what I do. When I watch a video, I usually watch it 3 to 5 times if it's good content, because I want to extract all the great expressions out of that video. Repetition in comprehensible input allows us to follow a slogan that I use in my own learning, and that is, learn it well, learn it once. I came through all sorts of traditional learning in the past. I spent way too much time on Duolingo, and what I found is with those methods for learning language, I didn't learn it well, and so it didn't stick. But if you learn it well with repeated exposures and good comprehensible input content, then you can live that slogan, learn it well, learn it once. Also, during this time where you're motoring through the library, learning from what has been created here, you can look at other sources of input so that when mid-March rolls around and you have completely consumed what I've made here, you can make decisions. You can go back through it again, or you could go to another source, or you could queue up a good audio book, or you could make use of a podcast. So let's consider that you decided that you were going to read more books. Again, that's a great goal, but it's not specific enough to be useful for your purposes of acquiring a language. What would be more powerful would be, I'm going to read 15 pages. I'm going to read 20 pages. Put in your goal a metric so that when you get up in the morning, you know what you need to do on that day. The goal is on the shelf, but your action for that day is just to follow a specific metric. If you're reading a physical book, like a paperback, and you have a bookmark in it, I just think in terms of moving that bookmark X number of pages forward. I'm going to move my bookmark 20 pages. And by taking little steps, these baby steps of reading 10 pages, 15 pages, whatever, pretty soon you've read a whole book. I did that in the past couple of weeks. I found a really interesting book in English on a topic that I'm very interested in, and it was a couple hundred pages long, not huge, and I put a bookmark in it. The first day I read about 5 pages, and then each day going forward I read between 5 and 10 pages. This was not a language learning project. This was just a book I wanted to read. And each day I read a little bit, and I'm finishing that book up now. Baby steps. So where are we going with Input English now that we are in January and I've attained that metric? Should I just say, well, more of the same? Well, you know that's not the right answer because I've already said I'm not going to make a goal that has no power. I need a goal that is very specific. So right now, the 200 videos that are published and in the library equate to a little more than 40 hours of input. Input that you can access 24 hours a day, anytime you want, and I'm not planning on getting rid of them. But what I would really like to have is 100 hours of videos. And that is realistic by the end of 2025. I went onto the day counter and looked at what it would take to get 100 hours of published videos available to you on the channel. And what I discovered is I can do it if I publish one video a day, every day. That will give me 475 videos by mid-October. And 475 videos should equal approximately 100 hours of content. Now, I consider that an important milestone. Remember, I have a previous video that you may have seen where I talked about my 300-hour rule. That is not a rule, it's an observation that if you add 300 hours to wherever you are in language learning, you will notice a big difference. So if I can have a published library of 100 hours, then that means that somebody who really wants to do the 300-hour experience could watch each of those videos 3 times and get their 300 hours here on this site, one-stop shopping. One-stop shopping is an expression out of marketing in the United States for a place where you can get everything you need. One-stop shopping was a slogan for some store, and it got picked up, so a lot of companies say it. And it also is used in non-marketing approaches. Anytime you gather resources from a single source, it's one-stop shopping. So that's my goal for 2025, is to publish 1 video a day, attain 475 videos by mid-October, and publish 100 total hours of content for you to use. What else? Well, I need to continue to learn my craft. I need to improve my craft. I would like to do some interviews. I will experiment with different types of content. Nothing radically different, but a little bit of innovation goes a long way to keep people's interest. I have considered a live stream. This was actually recommended to me, is consider a live stream. With nearly 3,000 subscribers, a live stream is a realistic thing to do. So let me pose this question to you. Would anyone be interested in a live stream? And if so, what time would be best? Now, you can tell me what time would be best for you, but if you do, tell me what time zone you're in or what location you're in. Another way to do it would be to translate it into universal time. I'm on California time, and what I'm thinking is a lot of the viewers who watch this content are actually not in North America. And so a lot of the viewing occurs between midnight and 10 in the morning local time here. So it may be that the best time for a live stream would be at 4 o'clock in the morning California time, so that it corresponds to a useful time for you all. So I do invite in the comments section comments about whether you would be interested in a live stream, and if so, what time of day, bearing in mind that if you specify a local time for you, I need to know where you are or what time zone you're in so that I can do the math. Something happened in December that's actually not very important, but it's delightful, and that is this channel monetized. That is, we got to the metrics required by YouTube to actually get paid. My goal for creating this channel was not to make a business out of it. It was not some get-rich scheme, but I thought it was fairly charming that YouTube has offered to pay me for doing what I'm doing. The amount of money we're talking about is very small at this point, but it's growing. So what would I do with this income that YouTube is threatening to send to me? Improve the channel, of course. One of the things I have thought about and would like to do in the coming year is to add another presenter to the channel. It's not that I want to stop making videos, I just want the channel to be more and better. So it has occurred to me that during 2025, adding another presenter from time to time might be beneficial. When one has a YouTube channel, what you get from YouTube is a dashboard that gives you a lot of data. There's a lot of talk on YouTube and in popular culture about the algorithm. And some people think the algorithm is evil and against them. Others talk about it being very mysterious. Some people think the algorithm is working against them. I don't see it that way at all. I do know that YouTube has a pretty powerful AI and that they are a business, and they have stated that their goal is to serve the viewer, not the content creator. So I look at the algorithm in a way similar to the way a Stoic philosopher would look at the algorithm. If it appears to be an obstacle, I consider it the way forward. I recognize that I have nearly 3,000 subscribers on this channel because of the algorithm working with the content I have provided. So I'm not at war with the algorithm at all. When I look at the dashboard and the data coming to me from YouTube, it reflects the behavior of the viewership. It doesn't explain the data in fine detail, but it shows trends. And one of the trends that I find fascinating is that some people have found the library. I have people in the library every day. I do see viewers going through the library very methodically, mining the content out of the library. Well, this is exactly why the library was created. So this is very heartwarming that people found this resource, recognized it as useful to them, and they are using it on a daily basis. I think 2025 is going to be a marvelous year for this channel, and hopefully it will be a very productive year for you in your quest to improve your English. Give it some thought. Do you have a specific goal? Do you have a metric so that when you get up in the morning, you can trust your system of how much content you want to get on that day, and then simply follow your daily metric rather than referring to a long-term goal? If you haven't set such a metric, you might think about doing that. In building this channel, it was crucial that I do that, and it worked. I did exactly the same thing learning Spanish. Basically, all the progress I made learning Spanish in the past 2 years was based on having a daily metric, not a vague long-term goal to learn Spanish. I would invite comments about the potential for live streams and comments on when we might do that during the day so that I can form a mental image of how early I need to get up to do it, to coordinate with your schedules. And if you like videos like this, be sure to click on this one next. See you soon.